when we got married, I kind of thought, like a lot of people my age and my culture, that you can't have a democracy in a marriage, because you're either what do you do when you have a split decision? And so you can, after a while, when you have a couple that's comes to those issues that it's one of us is going to win and one's going to lose, you only see those two options. You see, my way or the other way. But if you take those two options, even if your spouse doesn't, you take your option off the table, you realize there was all these other options that we've swept off the table years past, and we don't realize they're there on the floor.
This is Ryan and Michelle, and welcome to the Celebrate MarriageCast, where we hope to restore and reclaim godly marriages through honest and real conversations.
Welcome to episode 136. And Ryan, we have two exciting things happening today. First, we have guests, and we'll get to them in a second. But second, our listeners are going to see, if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, you will get to see something you have never seen before in 135 episodes. Do you know what that is, Ryan?
What's that, Michelle?
Our ears. You guys, it's super weird. I can't hear myself, so we're just like free flowing. So we're trusting Bobby over there with the audio, and this is fun though. Like my head is free, so this is a weird feeling to get used to. But we're so proud of you for taking this time to invest in your marriage. And we have a returning guest to the show. We have Jon Anderson back with his wife, JoJo. Welcome to our show, you guys.
Thank you. We're live this time.
You're live in person. Last time you were online. Jon, you wrote a book called The Acceptance, and we talked about that book. We read it and then interviewed you on it. And now you're in town for our Celebrate.church date night. And we thought it would be great to kind of capitalize on this opportunity to have you here in the studio. So welcome.
Thanks for having us.
We're excited for date night. Would you want to kind of introduce yourselves to our listeners?
You want to start?
I'm JoJo Anderson, Joanna. About what?
Yeah, just where are you guys from? Family? How long have you been married?
Yes,
anything you want.
Married
fun hobbies.
41 years.
Okay,
and almost. And we are from Dallas-Fort Worth area. Fort Worth. Have 3 grown children, 3 amazing sons, or 2 amazing son-in-laws, and an amazing daughter-in-law. 7 grandchildren.
Wow.
One on the way.
One on the way.
Congratulations.
Yes. There are just joy.
Awesome.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We
And
love
all
the
our
Dallas
energy.
area. What was that?
And all our energy.
And all your
Yes.
energy.
Yeah.
I can imagine 7 grandchildren.
Yes.
Incredible. Anything to add to that, Jon?
You tell her we've been married 41 years?
Yeah. Oh.
I feel like, what's that movie, 4 Christmases? And we go to places and we feed the kids.
When you
We
hear that,
Being on camera, it kind of frees up a little.
totally get it. That's a good movie. We like to watch that Christmas movie.
we watch it every year.
We're fans of, so do we. That's one of the regulars.
Yeah.
We're fans of Dallas. We ran a marathon there years and years ago, but we loved it because it was a good flat city. So we feel like we had pretty good times there.
The White Rock?
It was for like a hospital system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would say there was one of like the nicest like group of people. And I mean, it was, when did we go? Was it
November?
November,
would have been our
December?
anniversary, yeah.
And, it was 30, 40 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
And we're in shorts because it's like...
You guys are from South Dakota.
Yeah, we're like, this is great.
nothing.
And everyone else is in like coats and like freezing cold. And we
Parkas.
just were like, wow, this is
You
great.
loved
But
it.
everyone was so nice. I remember that we actually ended up sitting next to like the CEO of this hospital, and he's like, hey, if you guys need a ride to the race, let me know, and I'll send someone for you. And I'm like,
Wow.
oh, okay. That's really nice. We just took a cab or whatever, but it was
That's great.
yeah, just people were so nice.
Yeah, they were. It was a great city. So awesome. Very cool.
People here are really friendly too.
Thank you.
First time for us to be here.
Okay, well, welcome to South
awesome.
Dakota.
Yeah,
We're so
welcome.
glad to have
Thank
you.
you.
We are very like Midwest nice, so I hope you
Yes.
experience that when you're here.
Yes,
So
love it.
yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So excited to have you guys on. And, I think just the first question as we kind of jump in here, what does a good marriage look like for you guys? I mean, I know that term means different things to different people of what a good marriage is. What does it look like for you guys?
I'm going to start on that, but
Yeah.
I think so. We in just a couple of weeks, I'll be doing my 176th marriage intensive.
Wow.
And Joanna usually does them with me when most of the time. But the first day when we have the sharing session, the first question that everybody asks, second question or third, anyway, is what does a good marriage look like to you? Mm. And since we go first, we pretty much have said the same thing for years now, right?
Yeah.
Well, what would that be?
I would start out saying, to me, would be back to back. It's you and me, baby, against the world. Always have each other.
Especially when the day before you haven't been being very back to back.
Yes.
The next day you remind each other.
Yes.
It's still you and me against the world.
Yes. Acceptance, unconditional love through it all. Yeah.
I like that analogy of that back to back because it's like if you were to stand back to back, you can see 360 degrees, right?
Exactly.
So you're literally like you guys against the world. That's a fun analogy.
It's funny. I actually, when I said that the first time, bear with me on this, but I looked at it more back to back with a sword of so much coming at us and through every way. And it's you got me. I got you. I got us covered here. You got us covered here. That's just a view of what I always looked at it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then the way I always answer that question is something along the lines of, well, you won't know if you have a good marriage until you've been through some fires. And so if somebody's been married 1 or 2 years, I'm like, we'll see, but because it's the fires that either burn you up or forge you. And so a good marriage is one that's been through some big fires and come out better for it. I think.
That's incredible. And 177 marriage intensives, those are exactly what the name says, right? Intensive. Those are for couples that are going through some stuff, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, would you guys say that definition changes over the course of a marriage?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would say we've been married almost 41 years, like you said, and I think when we were 20, 21, a good marriage looks so different to me now. More of, he's going to be my everything, and I'm going to be his everything, and it's going to be a perfect marriage. It's kind of like what he said, a good marriage has been on the highs and the lows. So I think every year, every decade, it gets tweaked a little bit. Good marriage now with children, a good marriage now with grandchildren, a good marriage when job change, just deaths, births, and it just ebbs and flows, I think, for the rest of your married life.
Would you guys say that? So you said you're almost at 41 years. Is your anniversary this week or coming up soon?
We're celebrating it but we came a couple days earlier so we could just have some time.
Okay, amazing.
Cool.
Did you in Sioux Falls? 11th. You just were in Sioux Falls for a few extra days then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So May 11th is our next anniversary.
Okay,
85. Yeah.
Happy anniversary, you
Thank
guys.
you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And did you get to do some fun things in downtown Sioux Falls, the falls?
We're planning to see it. We ate some wonderful dinner last night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you guys go?
It was going to be
Maribel's.
freezing.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And tonight we're going to
Crawford's?
Crawford's.
Yes.
Oh.
Amazing
We listened
pigs.
to a jazz trio last night after we ate. It was
Maribel's.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They have really great gluten-free food, which I appreciate about Maribel's Italian Restaurante. But Crawford's has really great NA drinks, which I really appreciate about that place, and great service.
Yeah.
So very cool.
We're excited to go.
A little side tangent there. Well, happy anniversary to you guys.
Yes, thank
Would
you.
you say then, with almost 41 years of marriage under your belt, do you feel like you have things figured out?
I know what she needs to be doing.
No. It's funny. I will add, he's a marriage and family therapist, and this is our ministry. This is what we do. And I think everybody thinks we have it all worked out, and we are just so perfect. Ask our children, and
John's
they will
laughing.
go, "Oh my word, you should have seen them last night." Or
Can we change the subject?
yeah. But
Who put this question in here?
I think we don't, and it's kind of like what I said last time.
It's kind of like, you guys have kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have that first one, and then you go, okay, I think I got this parenthood thing figured out, and the next one comes along and it's totally different. And so just as we start to feel like we're comfortable in a season, then a new season hits, and we have to readjust to each other. And so
Is that something you guys like consciously like call out? Are you like, you know what, we've had a lot of things change, let's work through this? Or how does that process happen?
we sold our house that we raised our kids in 2018.
Okay.
And for the next 3 years, we thought it was going to be here, but we lived in this little 700 square foot casita behind my sister's house.
Okay. I bet that was a great marriage
And,
exercise.
Yeah, so we went from like 2,400 square feet to 700.
and during COVID.
And the first, it was like, this is weird. Why are we struggling with each other so much? And it was like, and then when we finally said, you know what, we're having to readjust to everything, so.
Yeah, just recognizing that.
Yeah.
Ryan, I feel like we're in a season like that right now.
Yeah.
We knew about this. This thing had happened, exciting thing had happened the day of, actually probably an hour before our last podcast to record. We got some really great news, but we weren't able to share it yet. Now it's official, but our daughter got engaged last Wednesday at like 3:30. I think she called us. We record at 4:45. So I think actually maybe it's 3:45 we talked to her. So we were like, we're headed out the door. Sure, feel free to FaceTime.
That's engaged.
And she's engaged. So it's been a lot of just, we had a great brunch with them, and they said, oh yeah, we were planning this and that. And Ryan and I were just like, you know what, there's a lot of surrendering we're doing in this process. And it's also happened for us really fast. She's doing college in 2.5 years. She's smart as a whip, and just like she's engaged, and they've dated God's way, and they have her and Logan they're just amazing, and we're really proud of them. But Ryan's like, you had made this comment, gosh, I thought this process would be like an 8-year process, 4 years of college, dating after, engaged, and it's happening so fast that for us as parents, I feel like it's just trying to, stay in our lane of being, parents versus she's a grown adult. So just, lifting her up, but not, not veering into her lane, letting her make some of those decisions and supporting her.
So I'm sure there's quite a bit of this discussion of you both see different ways that things need to be handled. And so that causes some friction and some tension. And I think that's with us raising our kids.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, it's a matter of surrendering and having open conversation about one way, another way, and what that looks like for sure. I think I love the answer to your question, John. You started laughing, and I'm saying that as truly like. It's so amazing, and part of this is I hope this gives hope that you're never gonna have it figured out. Like this is a lifelong journey, and we've been married almost 15 years, and we're continually learning, continually growing, closer together, and it looks different in different seasons. And I love that answer of just, and I hope that gives people hope that you're always searching for that answer. You're always working towards that. So
I don't know of any marriage that's got it figured out.
I mean, and I think that's a great. I think that can give hope to people of like. If somebody's listening and they're like, oh, we don't have it figured out, join the club. Yeah.
Just see people that lead a marriage intensive, still working on it. That should be hope giving.
Yeah. So I'm going to guess after, and you guys have kind of hinted at this, after 41 years, I'm guessing that life has not always been easy. and maybe there's been some struggles. Would you guys be willing to share? Maybe if there was a season or something that has come up.
I could tell you about some bad things that Joe's done.
We're talking collectively, yes.
Right.
Things you've gone through together come out.
I would say, I know what you're going to say.
Okay.
You talk about the early days of just adjusting. We were kids.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think at this stage when we have moved unexpectedly, an unexpected stage, we have moved. We're with our kids, our grandkids, and kind of redefining ourselves in a new. I mean, we're 60, 61, 62 almost, and
no, it's 62.
Oh, yeah. And I think...
Do you have a birthday?
Yeah.
Yes.
No. We celebrate. I'm just kidding.
But that, now we've moved. We've had these lifelong friends that we've grew up with and raised our kids with, and our jobs we did that we brought with us here, or not here, but to Fort Worth. And it's just a redefining of ourselves. And it's been a bit of trying to find ourselves in the most amazing place would be with our children and grandchildren. But then just trying to figure that out now as we're in different places. And, we're not with our friends all the time, or my sisters and sister-in-laws and in-laws and father. And it's just, it's different, but good.
But we'll go through seasons where we argue more than usual, and then we'll go through seasons where it seems like we just get along really good. But so it's like she's saying, there's probably the last year or so with so much change, we've probably had some harder conversations than the couple years before. But so I don't know. It's like every 5 years, COVID and now moving, and so
And I would say we just talked about it recently that it's really cool because we go through these periods of time, as all do, but it really truly draws us together, almost ready and prepared for the next life journey of change. Or
I love that.
So it's like, okay, now we have another armor.
Yeah.
Because it will, they come. So
I will say something about that. One thing that I know that is if we have a hard discussion one night where we're both feeling really hurt, I still go to bed knowing tomorrow we're going to have a better discussion, and we're both going to look at each other, and in some way or another, we're going to let each other know, no, it's still you and me against the world.
Yeah. I love that mindset because there's no alternate thinking there. It's like, no, we're in this together. No matter what, every night. It's like that. We talk a lot about having a same team mentality. It's we're on the same team. We might have differences, but ultimately, we're trying to do the same thing. We're trying to go in the same direction. We're on the same team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very unifying when you have that mentality of there's going to be things that come up naturally as this part of being alive, is there's going to be things happen, but when you go through it together, I love that. I think knowing that, hey, we're just building. We're just building our marriage stronger.
I like that. Yeah,
by
building.
By going through that.
We're building.
Yeah. We all are.
We're remodeling.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Jon and JoJo, what would you say? You've seen a lot of marriages. What would you say are the top issue or two that you've seen in marriages? And what advice would you have for our listeners?
You got a good...
You go first. Well,
okay.
You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Simply put, I would say, I'm going to say one of them because I know she's going to say the other. The power struggles is a big thing. And I had to...
Walk us through that, if listeners don't necessarily even know, what that is. Maybe they're living it, but they haven't heard that term defined.
Yeah. Well, I had a professor when I was getting my marriage and family therapy degree that, over that 60 hours of course, is 60 credit unions, you'll have the same professor for 3 or 4 different classes. And he had said this several times that the 2 core issues in relationships is power and acceptance. And I didn't, first of all, I didn't quite believe him, but also I couldn't, quite understand what he was talking about. I understand it more and more as I work with couples. But so when we got married, I kind of thought, like a lot of people my age and my culture, that you can't have a democracy in a marriage because you're either what do you do when you have a split decision? And so somebody's got to be the tiebreaker. And so, not necessarily by the way I was raised by my parents, but just culturally in church, it's like, oh, well, the husband's the tiebreaker. Well, go find me a scripture that says that. But that's so. And I was going to be a benevolent overlord, and I was going to listen to the wishes and desires of my queen. But
very
ultimately,
kind of you,
yeah. Queen. But yeah, I now learned that no, when you're not sharing power, there's going to be it's going to cause you more problems than trying to think, and especially in those times when you think your way is not only the best way, but is the right way, and the other way is the wrong way. And so you can, after a while, when you have a couple that comes to those issues that's one of us is going to win and one's going to lose, you only see those 2 options. You see, my way or the other way. But if you take those 2 options, even if your spouse doesn't, you take your option off the table. You realize there was all these other options that we've swept off the table years past, and we don't realize they're there on the floor.
You had that example in your book, didn't you?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so when power isn't shared, you're going to have problems between any 2 people. It's because we don't. If we lose our power, like especially for us as parents, if I lose my power, then the decision my spouse makes might be harmful to my children. So we've got to maintain some amount of power. It's not always a selfish thing.
Sure.
It's part of it's for self-protection, but also for the good of those around us. So when we're sharing power, we actually find solutions much quicker because we're both looking for those solutions that we hadn't thought of other than just what you think is right and what I think is right.
So if someone's listening right now and they realize, oh my gosh, that is a challenge in our marriage. You just named what we're feeling. What is their first step to bringing that to their spouse's attention or getting resolved with that? What would you recommend?
Throw your idea out the window.
Yeah.
Like if that's what's causing conflict and you're not coming to the same, you can't agree. Just like John says, we say throw the penny off the table, the one that you're sticking your flag in.
So if they're trying to get a car, and I don't know, I'm just trying to think of an example. Someone's like, no, we must have an electric car or a blue car or whatever. You're saying just remove that off and then look at all the other options.
Yeah. You say, basically what she's saying, that penny is saying, look, I realize what I think is the best is not going to work because we're not on the same page here. So let's talk about what is something other than what we're thinking of that could work.
Sure.
And another thing that's important in those discussions is couple people tend to go to defending the reason why there's giving data, giving the reasons for it. Don't talk about the reasons. Talk about your concerns. What is it? Why is it that you want a blue car or an electric car? What are you concerned about if you don't have that?
Sure.
And let's address that. Let's talk about that because that's what really matters.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I get that. Maybe they read a study and they found that those cars are in less accidents or one's better for the earth or whatever. And so listing those
and
things.
That's typically what they'll bring out. Well, see, look, this blue cars are in less accidents. That's why we need to get a blue car. I'm saying don't bring out the data. Talk about what's important. Why blue? Oh, well, because
safety. Safety is important.
Safety, yeah. Safety, yeah.
And then from there, once they identify what the real goal is, they can find other, you know what? Well, maybe we can find a silver Subaru because those are safe. And maybe that would be just as well.
Exactly.
Okay. That's super helpful.
Yeah.
I like a good real example. So Jojo, did you have something that you wanted to throw up?
We were given a book by, it's Sacred Marriage.
Gary Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. And there is this thing that it just was like an aha, like, wow, he nailed it. And I'm totally just going to paraphrase that he did this one chapter on where's your focus, basically. And when we're talking about people, like things that affect marriages negatively, like that, I feel like so many marriages we've dealt with, ours even, that when he talks about, we focus on your spouse. Mm-hmm. You get married and they're just like this incredible man that I'm marrying. He is.
I was.
But, yeah, no, but I still is. But, you are amazing. We're dating. Then this shift happens and it's called marriage. You get married and it's almost like you put new glasses on and you start living life together. And then you start looking at him and noticing the focus turns on more of not what you fell in love with him. Man, is he hot? Is he so cool? Does he love the Lord? But it's like, he doesn't do this. I don't like this habit. And you start noticing, focusing on negative, and then not focusing on, wow, what am I doing negative? And all it is focus on the negative. And then Gary says, you have to ask yourself this question. Are you more focused on, focusing on lifting your spouse up? Lord, how can I love my spouse more than they have ever felt love before? What can I do? What can I change? Or are you going to the Lord and giving him a list of things that you want him to fix? Please, Lord, help my husband to da-da-da. Please, Lord, help my wife to do this or get over this or be this. And so instead of lifting our spouses up and saying, show me what I need to be and change, we are more focused on the negative. Mm-hmm. And
I think a lot of probably non-Christ followers too, but a lot of it, we have this mindset that as a spouse, I'm partnering with God to sanctify my spouse. And I learned early on that, no, that's not my job. That's the Holy Spirit's job.
Yeah.
And my job is to make it easier for the Holy Spirit to work. In other words, to provide her hope and confidence and love and acceptance. And
We talked about that recently.
Yeah. I mean, I think two things. I think that idea of the lens, like what lens are you looking at your spouse through the lens that seeing them how God sees them or how you think that they should be. Mm-hmm. And I think that's an important thing, to really dig in and ask yourself. The other thing I wanted to go back to just real quickly, John, I think there's a part of this is I think leadership and power get mixed up. And I think so many people think I'm going to be the leader of my family when really they're just saying they want to be in charge and have all the power. And I think that's where I think people get that twisted. That leadership doesn't necessarily mean that you are taking all the power, and that's not necessarily leadership.
All right.
And so I think that's a distinction that I definitely think happens in marriages, and I think just in particular for a lot of men that they think, well, they hear it all the time that
wives submit to your husbands.
And men, you're supposed to be the leaders of your household.
Yeah.
And
they don't, we've talked about how they don't hear the second part of that.
Exactly.
Like, right.
Yeah. And about how, we're supposed to surrender as Christ did,
and love your wife like Christ loved the church.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's just something that just was really popped into my head of I feel like we hear a lot of like, men, you got to lead. And yes, I agree with that. That doesn't mean that you are lording over your wife. And, I love the joke about being the overlord and, that's not what it means.
Yeah. And I don't want to get too off in the theological weeds, but where I am now is, I don't see anything in Scripture that prohibits Joanna from leading me sometimes, and maybe more than I lead her. It depends on who's the better leader in the situation. There are certain things where I know her taking the lead on this is going to turn out way better than me taking the lead on,
sure.
and vice versa. I think, but if either of us starts to feel, and it's so funny when we bring this up, because when I hear a wife say to me, in a counseling session, I need to learn to submit more. I know where the problem is. The problem is with the husband, that he's demanding, her to follow his lead, and then they're probably in a church that's amplifying that, or they're around people that amplify that thought, and so the wife's feeling guilty because she feels like standing up for one of their children or something like that is getting in front of his lead. And man, I just see so much. I don't want to get on a downer here, but
sure. Yeah.
Right. I feel like you do such a great job of that. I mean, ultimately, I do look to you for leading us, but you've never squashed my opinions, or if we're planning a vacation, I mean, I'm leading that. So there are different areas where how we're gifted and wired, we kind of step up, and, it ebbs and flows for who's taking the charge. But you've never lorded over me, and I've never felt like I can't say, I feel like it does feel equal, but ultimately, I do look to you as the leader of our household, but I've never felt like, it's never been an unbalance of power. Which
absolutely.
I really appreciate.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you guys, do you have any, these are our questions, but Jon, I want you to talk about your book a little bit in case viewers missed that show. And then we'll do some closing thoughts and questions too. Do you want to talk about The Acceptance?
Oh, sure. Well, yes, and I think you guys got the second edition just came out about a year and a half ago.
Okay. It's been like over a year, I think, since you've been on. So we'll link the show too.
It's called The Acceptance, and the subtitle is What Brings and Keeps Lifelong Love. It's there's a theme throughout it, as you can imagine, that this thing called acceptance, but how that matters at the core of why we're looking for a spouse in the first place, or a mate, even from a young, early age, why you start hoping for it. But then how that plays out in the dating and the early relationship, but then a lot of people don't realize it plays out through the entire relationship, and in all kinds of ways, in intimacy, in communication, in trust, and all kinds of every issue it affects. And so it's not so much of a how-to book. There's some how-to in it, but it's more about shifting what most people think, what this is all about. Just it's what is it really? What's driving it all? And then how can if we're harnessing under that understanding, how it can make our marriages better? So
that's great. Where can they find that? Was it on Amazon? We got a
it's
copy
on Barnes
from you.
& Noble, Amazon.
Perfect.
You can order it from our website too. I think we've got.
What's better for you? Does Amazon just give you penny? Does it matter where they go to order?
I'd prefer them to order it from our website.
Okay, perfect. Okay, go to your website.
They'll get it a little less than they would at Amazon. It might not come as quick.
I was going to say we're not Prime.
It's not going to come there the next day, but and also
get us to our website. We can
also
put that on there
I of course make more off of it than if they sell it for me.
Well, we'd like to support you, so we'll link your website there too. So,
cool.
Do you guys have any final closing thoughts or questions? One last thing you want to say to the listeners?
for somebody that always has a thought and something to say, I'm like, well.
Or I have a question for you. So you guys talked about how you've been married for, almost 41 years, and you said you're 61, 62. So you were married.
62.
You were married.
I know she looks older.
You were married at the same age our daughter is now at. She's 20. So what advice do you have for like young couples?
Word. Now I can definitely
you just
go there.
opened up a whole nother
book. Well, just like a short and sweet. Yeah.
Man, when you're starting out, again, goes along with what I was saying is just, your book, accept, constantly accept, forgive, lower expectations. And, for once, it's a good thing to focus on yourself. Self-focus, sometimes a negative, like in a relationship. For a marriage, it's so good to keep looking, keep waking up every day saying, how can I love my spouse better than she was loved yesterday? And I wished I had done that more instead of saying, setting bars constantly. If you're talking to
that's great.
Your daughter just getting married.
Yeah, and if you're talking about somebody, engaged or even looking or hoping one day to be married, set the bar high before you decide to go out with somebody, because you can fall in love with virtually anybody if with the right setting and the right process. So like we always told our kids, there's no point in even going out on a milkshake date, going to get a Sonic, if you know that this is not a kind of person you'd want to marry.
Sure. Fundamentally, there are just differences.
Right.
Yeah.
And you get in that, you step in that, I'll talk about this tomorrow night, but step in that relationship pool together and you go through it, then you'll find yourself, wanting to marry this person. So there's a whole chapter about this phenomenon called limerence that people call falling in love.
I remember that.
But and so but once you made done the deal, then what she says. But
that's great.
Just we always, when our kids were getting the dating age, we told them one of our rules is before you go out with somebody, they have to eat at our table, and that we did it a lot of.
That's great.
That's
a great tip, listener parents. That's so good. We'll implement that. For our son. Ella has a great fiance, but we'll implement that for Thomas. Brian, any closing thoughts from you?
No, I mean, I think again, just to go back to this is a journey, and it's a journey that you do together, and I think, just erase that point of this idea of a perfect marriage and just enjoy continuing to grow. I think there's just a lot of hope in that, and I love this conversation.
Jon and JoJo, thank you so much for being on our show today. This has been a real treat. So thank you to have you here live and in person. And for our listeners, thank you for joining us. We're really proud of you for making this investment in your marriage. And we'll link the book and our previous episode with Jon in our show notes. And we want you to know that if you don't have a church home, we would love to have you at Celebrate. Our website is Celebrate.church. And we hope you have a great week.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.